This comment proves he's built different. As an MLB insider and former Yankees player, gave high praise to the young Yankees phenom after his phenomenal start against the Rays this past week. We'll break down what this comment means for the Yankees and how they have a big decision on hand when the playoffs come around. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Yankees Digest, giving you guys a daily dose of Yankees content every day of the week. And before we get into this video, if you guys are a part of that 74.2% who aren't subscribed to these videos, let's subscribe. Let's comment down below to join in on this conversation. This playoff race is heating up in the month of August as we head into early September. So you guys better hit that subscribe button. Comment down below to join in on this conversation. But getting right into this video, as talking about one of the young phenoms for the New York Yankees, Cam Schlittler, and this was something that the Yankees were not expecting this early in his career. If you guys did not watch the Rays game this past week when Cam Schlittler was on the mound, he was absolutely outstanding. He went six perfect innings. So he was having a perfect game through 6 innings, and then he gave up, kind of got shaken up in that 7th inning, wasn't able to finish that. But just looking at what he did in those 6 innings, I'll get a little bit more into his stats later in this video, but this was receiving high praise from all around the MLB, and the MLB Network actually did a feature on Cam Schlittler, and a former Yankees player, Chris Young, talked about it. He said, he's game 2, splitting up the lefties. Cam Schlittler is my game 2 guy. This was Chris Young on MLB Network when talking about Cam Schlittler, and I definitely agree. I agree that the Yankees, if they are going into a wild card series where you have to have 3 pitchers, because there are only 3 games in the wild card series, if you have to have 3 pitchers, I am going with Max Fried or Carlos Rodon game 1. Then I'm going Cam Schlittler game 2. And then I'm going Max Fried, Carlos Rodon game 3. Whatever the matchup they want to go with. I'm going with that specific order. Obviously, you got to see how Max Fried does and compared to Carlos Rodon at that point, who is going to be the hot hand there. But when you're looking at game 2, solidified is Cam Schlittler. Because if you're looking at a guy who is going to strike out batters and who has very good velocity, it is Cam Schlittler. And being able to have the confidence to put him in a game 2 scenario, playoff game that could be do or die, depending on how the series is shaping out at that point, Cam Schlittler, I'm definitely confident that he's able to be very poised and confident and ready for that situation. And there's no better spotlight to be as being in the playoffs and being a New York Yankee. So throw him in there. Game 2, if the season's on the line, the season is on the line with your rookie phenom. And I definitely think that is something that's big for Cam Schlittler and his confidence moving forward. But what do you guys think regarding Cam Schlittler? And do you believe he should be a game 2 guy? Because I feel like if you're looking at it, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried are going to be those 2 other pitchers when looking at those 3-game series. Are you going to trust Luis Gil, Will Warren? I feel like Schlittler is definitely the guy for that game 2. And then, just looking at his stats so far this season, 1-2 with a 3.22 ERA in 7 game starts with 38 strikeouts. So he's definitely coming around as a very young, promising pitcher for the Yankees in this organization. He came up earlier this year and he really showed out. He really did well in his first couple of starts. He got, there's some starts that he doesn't have, the best stuff, but you always can rely on his velocity, and you can always rely on him to go out there and just look poised. He doesn't look like he's rattled. He doesn't look like he's out of sorts at any way. He is definitely poised in every single start he goes in. And he's only 24 years old, so he's definitely someone that, this Yankees team can develop and be one of the top flight pitchers in this rotation. And he's already seen that with being next to the likes of Max Fried and Carlos Rodon in this rotation and getting national praise. And then when we're looking at his game against the Tampa Bay Rays, I mean, absolutely phenomenal. 1 hit, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. And through those 6 innings, perfect baseball. I mean, he obviously didn't finish the job with the perfect game. He didn't finish those those complete 7 innings, but you got to tip the cap to Cam Schlittler and what he has been able to be for this Yankees team, because, just showing that against the Tampa Bay Rays, who also got rattled the game before. They got rattled the game before, so they were coming out there. They wanted to be able to take that next game and really really get the momentum out of the Yankees' hands. But he came in there and he shut the door. He really did, and it was just very impressive to see, and how young he is, and how poised and confident he already is as an MLB ball player, especially pitching for the New York Yankees, which is not easy to do. And then just looking at what the Fireside Yankees, posted about this, he said he carried a perfect game into the 7th inning and struck out 8 tonight in Tampa Bay. 6 and 2/3 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks on 95 pitches. He also, out of that 95 pitches, had 67 strikes. So, he was definitely thrown into some mock trades at the deadline. There was definitely some things like, Eugenio Suarez, who hasn't really been doing well for the Mariners now. He was kind of thrown into, that package when they were trying to get him for the Diamondbacks. It was very smart that the Yankees were able to hold on to Cam Schlittler, because you're seeing the benefit now just in his rookie year. And he's only going to get better. He is only going to get better as he gets more comfortable in the major leagues. And I think a guy who really is the reason for why Cam Schlittler is doing so good, it's not Jazz Chisholm. It is Matt Blake. Matt Blake is one of the reasons why Cam Schlittler and a lot of these Yankee pitchers have been succeeding in this rotation. I mean, there's definitely, with Matt Blake, it feels like he is the pitcher whisperer at this point. I mean, like it's so unbelievable how good the Yankees have been able to do, not just with Matt Blake, but just organizationally. Like, through the minor leagues, they've been able to get guys like Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who has been really showing what he can do at a top level in the minor leagues, getting him from the Boston Red Sox. So being able to develop these pitchers, because you never know when a starter is going to, fall off. You never know how long you're going to have Gerrit Cole. You never know how long you're going to have these guys like Will Warren, Luis Gil. What happens there? So you obviously need to adjust on the fly and have these guys in the minor leagues. And Matt Blake is a huge part into why this Yankees rotation is looking really good at this point, especially with Fried, Rodon, and Cam Schlittler. And I definitely think that this Yankees team, they're going to have to rely on Schlittler a little bit more than you may have expect when he came up, because you're just looking at what Fried has been doing. He's been kind of struggling as of late. Carlos Rodon has been pretty solid, but you're going to have to get someone who is able to strike out batters at a high clip. And being in the postseason, that's going to be a big test for Schlittler, and I definitely think he can succeed there. But that's going to do it for another edition of Yankees Digest. Appreciate all the support you guys are giving us on this channel. Subscribe, comment down below to join in on this conversation. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Hope you guys are tuning in to this channel. And everyone, as we all know it, let's go Yankees.